What is up, guys? Wunzy Gaming here, and I apologize for my voice ahead of time. I have laryngitis, so I'm going to try to muscle through this video for you guys. So this is PTR, and I'm getting an early build. I'll show you guys my gear here. So those guys that don't know, those guys that haven't been paying attention, the 5% critical strike nerf, it's 5 or 10%, I don't remember which one exactly, but it did hurt. It is noticeable too. So I know Demon Hunters and Hunters for sure got the crit nerf, but I definitely did feel it in this video. Also, full disclaimer for this, I used no cooldowns in these DPS checks except for Chaos Blades. There's no Metamorphosis, no potions, no food buffs, and no flasks. Nothing of that sort. Chaos Blades is the only cooldown that I used outside of the regular rotations. Now, if you guys saw my recent video, I broke down what the changes are for Demon Hunter, and I wanted to show you one. This is the one recording of the spec that I got the highest numbers from. So, First Blood got nerfed. If there is lag with the recording, it was the recording software was weird. There was input lag and stuff like that. I think I need to update my recording software. But I was able to get high 200s, high 200k DPS with this spec. What I was doing with these specs as well, guys, is I was getting to 100 million damage and stopping them. Some of the meters are not going to be at 100 million damage. For some reason, they were messing up. They would reset the damage, but not the DPS number. So keep that in mind. If it says like 7 million damage, that's not what it did. It's not that I was out of range or anything and it reset automatically. It was just something, it's something on SCADA's end. I'm not entirely sure what it was. So this is the build that I'm using in this recording. This is a still shot of the build that I'm using. Absolutely loved the way that this build played. It's really good with momentum. With Nemesis getting a buff, I didn't know how momentum would fit in or where it would go. But with Fellblade moving to the 99 slot and not competing with the slot that it was on before, I just, not competing with Bloodlet, it opened up the ability to so much more. You're able to Fell Rush through things and then Fellblade, back to them. And again, guys, in this video, this is the first rendition of it. This was me first trying it out, and it's very different. There's a lot of different things. I didn't really play with Prepared before this, but it's really nice. So with this build, what I was doing pretty much was I was waiting for Vengeful Retreat. I would Vengeful Retreat, and right when I'm in the air, I would Fellblade back down to my target, like literally not losing any of that momentum from that Vengeful Retreat. I would do the same thing with Fell Rush. Now, it was hard for me to prioritize Vengeful Retreat over Fell Rush with this build and having to kind of save the cooldown of Fellblade. It's a lot of stuff going on at once, and it's a lot of stuff that I'm not used to. But as you can see, these crits from Blade Dance with the buff are insane. Now, Bloodlet did not get nerfed at the recording of this video. They said that they are still going to be changing stuff on PTR, but at the time of this recording, Bloodlet did not get nerfed. Blade Dance, however, or First Blood, I should say, the ability that affects Blade Dance, did, however, get buffed. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this spec in depth, and I'm not going to be talking about the other specs in this video in depth, is because this spec was the one that netted me the highest DPS numbers, as you can see in the still frame from earlier. I think it was like 297k DPS. It was nuts. And the reason why that happened, everything was proccing for me. I was getting Fellblade after Fellblade, right after Mongoose Strike, or not Mongoose Strike. I keep calling it Mongoose Strike, but and the Blade Dances were critting with Chaos Blades and momentum. A Blade Dance crit can go as high as 470k with the gear that I had, and it was absolutely nuts. And that's the last hit. So it would the dance itself would do around 700k damage, just that one ability. Another great thing about First Blood that I really liked is it lowers the fury cost of your Blade Dance. So you kind of get in these awkward moments where you can do double Chaos Strike or triple Chaos Strike if you get a couple lucky crits, even quad Chaos Strike. And then you have this weird, you have like 10 Fury or 15 Fury that you can't do with a Chaos Strike anymore. But because First Blood lowered the fury cost of your Blade Dance, you now have a Fury dump that actually does a pretty damn good amount of damage. The rotation for this took me a few hours, honestly, to kind of get down. Again, I wish I would have recorded one of the later ones. Again, I'm not feeling very good. I have laryngitis. I was like, should I record another one? And I was like, no, I just can't. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stay focused with that long enough. It's taken enough of me right now just to do this commentary. But you basically build your Fury up, and then Chaos Strike is still your main heavy hitter. It's still the ability that you want to be using. However, when your Fury generator procs your free Fellblade, you want to Vengeful Retreat if it's up, and then Fellblade immediately onto them. If it's not up, Fell Rush to get your momentum, and then Fellblade immediately and get back. And you want to use your Blade Dance out of your momentum. It seems to be the one that's doing like the most damage, and then it's opening up the most combos. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not sure if with First Blood it's better to use it at the end of your Chaos Strikes or at the beginning. I'm still kind of tweaking that, still kind of see which one benefits the most from your momentums. But I really, really, really enjoyed this build. It was so much fun. I felt so engaged in my character. You're doing so many things. The Demon Blades build, I did a couple of those in here, and again, I'm going to have still shots at the end of this video of the other builds that I tried and the talents, and what I did with them. You can definitely tell of that 10% nerf that we got to Demon Blades, because with the misses from you just missing your auto attacks on top of a 10% nerf to your proc chance, it is so rough to generate Fury with Demon Blades with 7.1.5. It's really, really rough. There were times where I was literally doing nothing for 3 seconds except for throwing throw glaives if they were up, because it was like miss, and then white damage, so I didn't get a proc on my Demon Blades. Now, for those of you that are curious about Fellblade and the proc off of the Demon's Bite, it does proc off Demon's Blades as well. But it has to proc off yellow damage. So when your auto attack procs happen, if you want to still use Demon Blades, they can proc a free Fellblade from what I was seeing in the PTR. Another build that I played around with, I was playing around with Blind Fury. I took Blind Fury and Demon Blades, and I think Bloodlet. The big issue I had with that was my lowest DPS by far. It was like 193k DPS. The big problem with that was Fury generation. I feel like if you want to play around with Blind Fury, you have to go with like Prepared or something like that. It was fun. It created a ton of Fury, but it was so few and far between. I feel like the people that are best going to be able to utilize that ability are the ones that have the legendary helmet that enables you to lower that cooldown. Then I could see you kind of doing some bonkers stuff with your Fury and with your I-Beam. Another thing, if you are not going to be going with the Fellblade and Momentum build, Nemesis looked really, really nice with the 5% increase to its damage. I really liked it when I tested it out. I got some pretty good numbers out of that. I didn't put those on here yet. I want to do another video for time's sake. I didn't want this to be too crazy long, so I'm probably going to split it up as the PTR goes on, and if changes, keep coming out, then I'll keep updating and filling you guys in. So the big issue with 7.1.5 so far in my eyes is Demon Blades. That 10% nerf was pretty rough. We miss a lot as it is as Demon Hunters. I don't know if any of you guys noticed that, but there are quite a bit of misses, auto attack misses, and that's really, really rough with Demon's Blades. And you compile that with the fact that they lowered our proc chance by 10%, and it really adds up, and it's actually pretty bad. And the good news about this patch, they were saying they wanted talent diversity. A lot of the talents that I tried, you will see them again at the end when I post them, they're very close in DPS, extremely close. Like within a few K of each other, which is very good. It shows you that you can do a lot of different builds. You could pretty much do whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with, what play style fits for what you want to do. So they're all around the 250k mark. Again, this is unbuffed. The only cooldown I am using is Chaos Blades, but it's sweet, and I really think they did a good job with balancing. I feel like the Demon Blades 10% was a bit much. 5% I think would have been okay. Putting it at 70%, or even just leaving it alone, I didn't feel like that was the problem at all. Another cool thing with Blind Fury, it increases the duration of your I-Beam. So when you have the golden ability that puts the timer on them that explodes, with the new Blind Fury, or even with the old one, I think the old one did increase the duration as well. You get to 15 stacks of that. So it's a pretty nice explosion. Again, it's still not worth it, I think, in practical use, at least from what I'm seeing right now. It just seemed like it was great. It opened up a good payoff for you, but with that long cooldown on I-beam, it wasn't really consistent. So here I was testing Fellblade with Bloodlet. It didn't really work out too well. They didn't really play well together. It seemed like Fellblade and First Blood definitely played more together. From what I was seeing in the meters too, I believe I have a few screenshots of the actual what the damage was doing and stuff like that at the end. I'm pretty sure I took a few of those. And Blade Dance was doing way more damage than Bloodlet. However, so this one is the go-to build on live, the one I'm using right now on live as well. 250k, it's about a 12k loss from what I'm doing on live, and I attribute that directly to the 10% less proc chance on our Demon's Blades. Everything else felt fine with, at 250, that's kind of where you want to be without buffs, and I felt like it did absolutely fine, and it is still perfectly viable. Here is the Blind Fury build. Again, this one, very bad. It did very bad on DPS, didn't do very hot at all. And I attribute that directly to the fact that I just could not generate Fury. Demon Blades just couldn't do it. Blind Fury gives you that Fury, gives you a ton of it, but there's nothing in between. And I found it to be very clunky and odd. Here's another Blind Fury build. Again, I kind of remedied the Fury issue by going with Prepared instead of Demon Blades. It didn't really pick up the DPS by a ton. So Blind Fury, while it seems like it's getting more playable, I still don't think it holds a candle to Fell Mastery or Fell Blade in this regard. It just can't compare at 99. Here I played around with First Blood with your typical build that is live right now. With First Blood, again, I think it played the best with Fellblade. That's what I got the best numbers out of. I got higher numbers than this. But as you guys saw with the build that I'm currently using live, it was better than this build right here. But I really like the way First Blood is playing, and I recommend you guys do give it a shot on the PTR. So here is the numbers breakdown of the one from the recording, not the one from the screenshot. As you guys can see, the Blade Dance right there, number 2, and Chaos Strike still being our top damage in single target. That shouldn't change with 7.1.5. But as you guys can see, Demon's Bite out there at 4, Fellblade at 3, and Blade Dance at 2. A lot of changes, and I actually really did enjoy this build. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I cannot wait to play more of it. So here's one where instead of having Demon Blades, I went with Prepared and Fellblade instead of Fell Mastery and kept Bloodlet. As you can see, numbers are pretty good. They're not terrible. Fellblade changes the rotation, guys, so it's going to feel odd at first. It's going to feel really, really strange to be playing with Fellblade. But again, I feel like Fellblade plays the best with Prepared or even Demonic Appetite. I have not tested Demonic Appetite yet, but I am looking forward to testing more and more of these abilities as the days go on. Here is the breakdown of that last screenshot. Again, as you can see, Throwglaive at 6, Bloodlet at 3, and it appears that Blade Dance and Fellblade together are doing more damage than with Bloodlet and Throwglaive, at least in single target. I'm pretty sure in AoE, Bloodlet and Throwglaive are still going to be the ways to go, but again, that will come with more testing as the PTR goes on and as we get closer to live. So what does this mean for the meta? I feel like it's still way too early to call. There still is a lot more testing. You still got to get used to the new builds. Again, I'm still getting used to these builds. It's a different way to play. But I can tell you one thing. I really like where Fellblade is at. They didn't really change the ability at all. They just moved it to 99. Actually, I don't think they even touched Fellblade except for moving it to 99. But doing that enabled us to kind of have this competition at 99 that honestly was not there before this 7.1.5. I feel like moving Fellblade to 99 really opens up a single target ability that opens up another single target ability with First Blood that I feel plays really well with it. And I cannot wait to continue to test it. And I cannot wait to see what more changes they give us in the PTR, because they did tweet that more changes are coming. A couple things that I would like to see. I still would like to see Fellblade's damage be changed from Fire to Chaos as a Havoc Demon Hunter. However, playing with it, I wouldn't be disappointed if they didn't. It still does a pretty